Hey, everybody. Nealay Patel here from SilverSilk and More, and I want to welcome you to the Great Beat Extravaganza event. I hope you're having a wonderful day and also having a wonderful time watching all of the amazing presenters do their thing, create some amazing designs, and show you how easy it is to make jewelry and fun and just spreading the good vibes everywhere. That's what it's for. That's what we're here to do. And always appreciate your support for our small businesses. I think all of us are very slim companies, if not the only person working in our company, such as myself. And this is our livelihood. This is how we do our day to day and what we're passionate about. That's my doorbell, which is interrupting my presentation. So I'm not even going to answer it. It's probably something salesman-y anyways. Anyway, kind of threw me off my presentation there. We have a packed show for our session today. And I wanted to talk about a few things. The first is our pop-up shop. So I have many objects and items that I made myself in my pop-up shop. Some stuff that I did curate and put into the shop store. And then it only took days before it was like completely sold out. So I took those items out, but I still have a few things that you guys can grab if you want to from silversilkonline.com. First is I've got about 3 kits left of the Sparkling Coral Elements Mix. This is a beautiful pipe chain that I created just for this pop-up shop concept. So this is a blush colored, which it looks a little reddish on camera, but I'm going to show you an example here in a bit of the chain up close, and you'll see that it's more of a blush color. But I used this neon orange as the base and then put this pearlesque tinsel that's in a purple color over it, and then used copper wire and knitted over all of that. And so what it did was it took that neon orange down to a purplish tone. And then from there, the copper added that really just dynamic, warm blush color and just made the whole thing come together. So I had a bunch of beads, of course, in my stash, as we all do. And I wanted to just create a really great looking bead soup that would complement this particular chain. And I added a few additional elements to it as well, a couple other bead strands, and some silkies, charms, which we all must have in our inventory. So again, I've only got 3 of these left. They really flew off the shelf and couldn't keep them on there for too long. And a lot of my silkies swiped it up already. So hopefully, if you haven't had an opportunity, you can grab one real quick while our show is happening. The next thing is I've got a few of these kits left too. These are, this is kind of essentially a little bit the same as this, except it has a couple additional things to it. So the first is, well, really one additional thing, I guess, memory wire. So if you took my workshop about, what was that, a month and a half ago, we did a project using a memory wire and we cut up SilverSilk, the pipe chain, and which is what you see here. And we made a really cool eclectic looking bracelet. I called it the Eclectic Earth Bracelet. The materials and the colors were very, very earthy and just a beautiful earth tone bracelet. And so I sold out of that really quickly. I didn't make but maybe 50 of those kits and they were gone in minutes, I think. So I kind of got my act together and I made more, again, for this pop-up shop, but I changed the color scheme a little bit to make it more metal and black tones in here. So there's some pops of brass, some bright hits of that sort of dark copper color in the mix. There's some great spacers and smaller beads, as you can kind of see in there. And then I have this hematite colored pipe chain that has black knitted wire over it. So you get a sort of a darker metal tone to it. So it's just a little bit of a color difference. I included the link for the class in the description for this product. And so you can watch the class and make it with this colorway. So that is available. Again, just a few units of those left, not too many. I've also got some end caps, which we'll be using for our project for the Mermaid Lagoon kit, which also sold out. Didn't have very many of those in stock, and I kind of just did an impulse like kit brought it together. But I did have a bunch of these cones left over. And so I wanted to let you guys have an opportunity to have it if you wanted them. They are beautiful patinaed, patinaed? I don't know what the past tense of patina is, but they have a beautiful patina on them. And they are also patina on the inside, which is quite unusual. But they have just a beautiful, like bright brass gold color tint to them. Very versatile. They go really well with any of the teal color chains or the seafoam color chains, which again, we'll be using that with our design as well. And there's lots of blues in the kit. So this will be a pretty good, fun little jewelry component that we'll get to use. I also placed my Wild Rock kit in the pop-up shop as well and discounted it some. This is what you'll create whenever you put the kit together. The class link is in the video or in the product description. I use Softflex wire to create this really amazing little wire wrapped top for our donut pendant. So all the supplies are included in here. You don't need anything else outside of your tools. And you get 5 feet of the flat mesh in dark rose. So this is going to be a really key color for fall jewelry. You can use the extra footage for whatever you'd like. If you want to make an accommodating matching bracelet or a pair of earrings, you can do that if you want to. So there's plenty of materials in there to make other projects if you want to. And they are still available, so I highly recommend checking it out. All right, so that's the first tray. We've got 3 to go total. Okay, so I had promised you guys a close-up and personal view of the pipe chain that is sparkling coral. I really should have just named it blush because that's probably closer to what the color looks like. It's just, again, just a beautiful radiant color. It is pipe chain, which means it is a silicone tubing. If you have a rubber-esque or silicone allergy, this might not be the material for you to craft with. However, this is a jewelry making material that is available in big box stores. So there's really not too much to worry about. I just knitted the wire right over it. But my other lines of pipe chain are more tone on tone, and they come in currently 9 different colors. And so I really wanted to kind of stretch my imagination and try something new with color mixing. So I produced this color. Again, it is a blush color, and you can fill it with beading wire or with craft wire or with memory wire or leather cord if it's 2 millimeter or under. So there's a variety of ways to use this and to craft with, and it's just been a huge hit in the SilverSilk scene. So what I wanted to do was put together a quick little like warm-up project for us. Oh, and before I even get to that, I wanted to show you some additional chain that I did have. This is the solid copper capture chain, which also is a very distinct blush color. If you're a fan of rose gold, then this is the chain for you to have. It is just a really stunning sparkly color. It's a really good mix if you're trying to compare something with the pipe chain there, as you can kind of see, along the same sort of color in terms of blush. And I'll do you one even better. I actually picked up some of my findings just to match with it so you can really see what it might look like if you're wanting to pick up this chain and use one of my custom end caps with it. This is the copper color. To use these, all you do is you just pretty much stuff the chain inside of the channel of the end cap and press it shut. That's really about it. There's teeth inside of the end cap that grasp onto the ball chain of the capture or pearlesque chain. And so it's really easy to use and the perfect color for this. So you could also use the antique copper color if you wanted. This is another great pairing and match with the solid copper there of the capture chain. And if you wanted to go gold, you can absolutely do that too if you wanted. It's just a matter of what your personal taste and preference is, and if you're comfortable with mixing metals. I personally am. I like the all the colors and textures that a design could be brought out with just mixing metals. So if I had other brass or gold elements within my design and I wanted to add that little highlight of peach or blush with it, then I think this would be a great way to go. And if you're wanting to go a bit more safer on colors, you can always use silver. So it's really fun and easy to use. And I'll be doing some crimping with some of my terminators here in a bit. So the terminators and the end caps kind of work similarly. It just depends on what you're trying to make that that changes the look. So I wanted to get a few things out here on my working table and show you that this is such an easy, fun project that you can make in minutes with the pipe chain. I just used size 8 seed beads and I strung on a total of 20 of those. And using a probably 18-inch length, maybe less than that, no, it's probably 18 now that I'm looking at it, an 18-inch length of medium soft flex beading wire. I then folded it in half and strung it through my pipe chain. And then I found this really cool stone and I was like, let me just start putting some of these elements together. I thought it'd be fun to just kind of do an asymmetrical focal here. So maybe we'll do that. I've got these really fun little brass spacers, and all this just came from my bead stash that I'm trying to not hoard anymore. But you know what? I just keep adding on to it, and that's okay sometimes. So I'm just going to add a few of these spacers on to give it more texture. And then I'm going to add in this little check glass bead. Let's see. I think I'm going to go this direction. Okay. So that looks good. And now I can kind of finish my bracelet off with the second half of my pipe chain. I just cut little snippets. This is probably about 2.5, 3 inches. And it really just depends on what size you want your bracelet to be finished as. One thing I wanted to teach you guys is a little trick here. You see how this is so curved and this is like pretty kind of straight and stiff. And even if I kind of curve it, it doesn't stay. I'm actually using 20 gauge. Well, this is 22. But you could use 20 if you wanted. 22 seems to be a pretty good fit for the pipe chain. But I'm just going to cut a little like stuffing, an extra bit of stuffing here. Wire is very malleable, pliable, and obviously very flexible. But it does hold some shape to it. So I just stuffed it right into my pipe chain. And now whenever I go to curve my pipe chain to fit the curve of my wrist, it easily accommodates for that and it stays. So something to consider whenever you are designing is how you wish to structure your designs. And the great thing is with the pipe chain, it conceals all of it and it's stuck in there permanently once I crimp it. So now I can add on a couple more size 8 seed beads. And then I'm going to string on this really cool little tiara cast monstera leaf as my button clasp. And I'm going to do a couple more of the size 8 seed beads. I probably could end it with a crimp there if I wanted. I might use these little guys to attach some additional beads on. So there's some room for interpretation there. But I really just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to craft with the pipe chain. For those of you that haven't tried it, it to me is sort of a gateway into silver silking. And then you'll discover the other lines of silver silk and just be completely hooked on it. Okay. So I'm going to grab a pair of chain nose pliers and I'm going to, in this instance, just squish my crimp and flatten it. There's many ways to crimp it, and what this does is it at least provides a channel for each of my wires to kind of stick out. So here again, if I were just attaching beads, I would probably string on a bead and then just kind of crimp it here at the end. And it just gives a little bit of extra decoration, which we all love, of course. And then your button clasp will just fit right in like that, and you are ready to wear your really cool, stellar little bracelet. Love the asymmetry on this, and I think the colors are just dynamic, very contrasty, and you're ready to go. All right, so that's tray number 2, and we can get on to tray number 3. Alrighty. So I went ahead and opened up my Mermaid Lagoon kit, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do a couple different bracelet projects. I'm just in a bracelet mood, but I can show you how, if you want to, you can turn it into a necklace. Um, in your kit, you will have received a complementary contrasting color of silver silk chain. This one happens to be the seafoam capture chain. And I'm going to move some stuff out of the way here so I don't get distracted. I don't know about you guys, but I get easily distracted. Okay. You got a bag full of beads. And so what I did was I sort of pre-strung this. It's a bead soup, essentially. So there are mixed matched elements within the bead soup. And I want to highlight and also just emphasize that, to me, this is a bit liberating from a creative standpoint, because there is no set plan. You don't have pairs to make earrings that are matchy-matchy. You kind of have to really use your imagination and think outside of the box when you're making a piece of jewelry with a bead soup. So I kind of took it as a challenge to myself, and hopefully you guys will out there too, to really figure out some fun styles that you can do to use the bead soup from this kit. But also think about the mismatched beads that you have in your own inventory. If you start to dump different colors and textures into a tub, mix it all around, you'd be so surprised at what you can make yourself with your orphan beads. And so this concept is sort of drawn into this piece. And when I think of stuff that's under the sea and very mermaidy and organic, I kind of just think of this stuff that's been caught in a net. And although the concept of being stuck in a net isn't great, but you can kind of imagine that all this stuff is just sort of pulled together, and we just kind of take it in and appreciate for what it is and what all the textures and colors that you can see. So I took inspiration from that, and I just sort of started stringing stuff together. Having said that, I'm going to make a second beaded strand, and then I'm going to use my cones, the ones that I showed you earlier, and these came in the kit, to kind of just tie everything together here at the end. And this is one of those bracelets that would look great as a bracelet if you wanted to. You can even put magnetic clasp on both ends, and it would look great as a necklace if you extended out and made a neck rope that fits all the way around. So this is a great versatile project for us to do. So I'm gonna take some time here, because I have a lot of time apparently. I go through my presentations very quickly. So I'm gonna just slow down and string some beads with y'all. And Joan, maybe you can find a couple comments. My friend and my SilverSilk, and one of my SilverSilk masters is on the scene and behind the scene here, helping with the sharing and comments and stuff. And so y'all give Joan some snaps, please. And I believe Teresa and Gretchen should be in the house as well, and perhaps even Colleen. So I have a few people, a few folks in my corner that are very happy and excited to help out with sharing the SilverSilk love to y'all. So give them some snaps. All right. There's no rhyme or reason to stringing this. I'm just, the only thing I caution is to use your smaller beads. Oh my God, there's axe clasp up here. Perfect. I caution you to use smaller beads here at the ends, so that way they fit comfortably inside of your cone. This is about maybe an 8mm opening when everything is said and done and stuffed, and then it comes to maybe a 1.5mm opening. Wow, amazed at the pipe chain. Where has it been all my life? Oh, honey, it's been waiting for you here, so it's finally arrived. And I think this project would be suited for you guys to make. Not this one, but the pipe chain project that I was showing you earlier. I think it'd be fun for y'all to experiment with. Okay. Again, I'm making this up as I go along. I'm just stringing from bead soup. I'm making sure that the only thing I kind of want to do is balance out some metal colors and stuff. So I want to make sure that my pearl and my larger metal bead don't hit in the same spot. So whenever you kind of get one strand done, however you want to do it, go ahead and lay that down and then just start stringing the other one to complement it. You see how these two are kind of hitting the same spot, my little oval beads? Well, I want to stagger them. So I'm going to actually move this down to a different area, and maybe we just move this all the way up. And in fact, I'm going to put a bead here at the end, replace it instead, and then do this guy. Did I mention the remnant bags? I think I missed that altogether. I'm sorry. This just came to my mind. I have remnant bags back in stock. These typically fly off the shelf. They have a little bit of everything from SilverSilk in there. If you've never tried SilverSilk before, I encourage you to grab the remnant bags. Something that I am doing special for the Great Bead Extravaganza, and because I ambushed a lot of you at the last minute and uploaded these without telling anybody, I'm including a pair of SilverSilk charms with each bag of remnant bags, each of the remnant bags, just as a little gift to say thank you. So they haven't shipped yet, luckily, because I was able to promise that on the spot now. So just look out for those in your remnant bags, for those of you who did pick it up already. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. So I want to do, I've got these really great little, like they're check glass essentially, but they're gem cut small rondelles. And oops, I didn't want to string this guy on, and have a sort of opally finish to them. They're really delightful. And you did get a random color of Softflex wire within your kit, and it was predominantly used for stringing. So I didn't make I didn't give too great of an emphasis on having to have matching Softflex wire necessarily. I did apply a coordinating color to your kit, but each of you probably have a different color to begin with for this. So, okay, I want my bead to go there. So let me keep at this here. Maybe we do this guy, and we do this little drop bead. I don't know, maybe we do another one of these green cones. Okay, so that's probably good. So I can probably add this little guy in. We'll do one more of these. Okay. Very cool. Very easy. Right up my alley. Okay, string this along. Ah, Jennifer! Girl, you got a tutorial coming up here next week. Jennifer is my new rock star tutorial extraordinaire. Her tutorials are so easy to follow, and they're going to be airing on my YouTube whenever we get that stuff coordinated. So the next tutorial coming up is a pair of earrings that she designed that I am just crazy about. It's going to be using the pipe chain, and they're so easy to make. Jennifer does an amazing job of explaining all of her materials and tools. So I'm just really proud of her. She's like a Silky converted into an instructor. And I just love her to pieces. She's such an amazing person. Very supportive from the beginning, and I just enjoy her personality too. She's quite a hoot. So this next tutorial will happen next Tuesday, and typically my tutorials air every other Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Let's see if I can do this. This will be, no, is it 2 o'clock? Joan, you have to correct me because now I can't even remember when my tutorial. It's 2 o'clock Central time. I'm sorry. It's 2 o'clock Central time, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and 12 o'clock Pacific time. Y'all, my head's all over the place these days. I have done a great job of getting your orders out, though. That is the one thing I am very proud of, is my swift ninja-like skills to be able to get packages out on time, and so that you guys don't have to wait too long to begin crafting. Thank you. Joan posted it for me. Where is my head these days? I've also just not been good at time telling, so, you know. That's why everything's written down. And we share stuff in our Silkies group, and I think that link might have been posted earlier. Oh, Hawaii Standard, 9 a.m. Hawaii. So when you are looking out at the coast in Hawaii, I'm like setting myself up with a picture, a vision here. I'm thinking if I go outside of my house and I see the beach and it's breakfast time, right? Because 9 a.m. and I have a laptop with me and a large cup of coffee, dark roast preferably. Then I can go outside, sit down, pop on that laptop, and watch a tutorial and just enjoy the morning. If I get creative and feel the urge to create, then I'm certainly gonna hit up my craft table and get to work with that pipe chain. And if I don't feel like creating at the immediate sense, then certainly, hopefully, we'll have brought some good vibes to your day. Alrighty. So there is my beaded strand, y'all. It's like just easily put together, right? So now I can crimp, and I've got a couple of 2mm soft flex crimps here on the spot. So I'm just gonna do a little, just do a little loop here. Essentially, it's gonna go into a jump, or not a jump ring. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make a wire wrap loop, and it'll all be stuffed inside of the cone, so you don't really even see it. So it doesn't have to really look pretty. It just has to look has to be constructed functionally. I cut off my little extra bit there. Okay, we'll just slide all that good stuff down. And we'll just crimp this side. There we go. Brilliant. Okay. There was a comment that I believe I was watching some of the presentations earlier, and Candy had mentioned that several of us are doing, I'm not doing any tribal beads per se, but many of us have been kind of sinking into this mindset of these organic beads, tribal-esque beads and stuff. So when you think of bead soup, I think this would be a good opportunity to use those sorts of beads that are a little bit irregular and mismatched. And there are lots of stores in our little group that have such a wonderful collection of these organic types of beads, shapes, and even Allegory Gallery, who make their own components. This would be a really fun addition to this particular style, would be a really fun addition to that. To those beads. So as my brain is working to kind of construct this, I'm not talking correctly. Okay, so this is what my bracelet's going to look like. So I'm really excited about this. So what I'm going to do is grab some wire that came in your kits. I think this is 22 gauge, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully that is what came in your kit. Joyce is asking, where are your magical crimpers, young man? They are actually in that little like box that's above my head right there. And I didn't use them this time actually, Joyce, because my crimp's going to be hidden inside of the cone. So in the sense of just having a easy crimp to make, I just use my regular crimpers, as you can see here. Sometimes I'd like to kind of go off, back and forth with my crimping, just depending on the situation. If my crimps were exposed and it was part of my design, then I would definitely use the magical crimpers. Alrighty, I am going to make a wire wrapped loop, and I'm doing a wire wrap loop because I want security. And I also need to be able to fit that little guy in. So my wire wrap loop is quite small right there. So I'm going to undo that and make it bigger. It's a little bit ugly than I want, but again, this is one of those situations that it is going to be inside of my. Oh, that's really hideous. I can't even justify that. I'm going to redo it. In some space, I can kind of be okay with an ugly loop, but really it was really terrible looking. So we're just going to ignore that and make a new one here. I have standards, y'all. Okay, just gonna do a quick little wire wrap loop here. I'm gonna open it up so that looks much better. This I can work with. Okay, I'm gonna open it up. I'm going to insert my chain, but actually I'm gonna sandwich it. So I'm gonna attach one of my beaded strands, attach my, I'm looking at the time here. I've got 30 minutes, it's all right. I'm gonna attach my capture chain. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually going a bead below the chain there where I cut it. And whenever you cut this chain, don't worry about it fraying or coming apart or anything. It actually won't. It won't fray just because of the way that the knit is made with wire. But also, it's so easy to just fit stuff through it and attach things on the fly as I'm doing here. And it's very secure, as you can see. So I've got my chain attached virtually there, and then I've got my second strand. So it's all nice and sandwiched together now. So I'm going to wrap the rest of this, loop around. Just coil that around and around. And then I'm going to trim that little extra bit off. Okay, so I got a nice little secured, clean end there, and I've got all this extra wire to work with. So I'm going to just slide my end, or my cone, excuse me, my cone down, and it just hides everything pretty well. Even if you look at it from the upstate, you can see that there's nothing coming out or doing anything crazy. So when that happens, I'm very excited and happy when that does. And now I can, if you want to add on a bead or whatever here at the end, you can. You don't have to. I just have a lot of these little gem cut beads. So I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to grab my round nose pliers. This time I can make my loop a lot smaller. When I'm doing this, just because I'm going to attach my jump ring to it. So I'll just go ahead and coil this a couple times, get it nice and secure. That looks really good. And I can trim off that extra bit and then just tuck it away. I love you, Jennifer. I'm still laughing at Nealay's comment about not being able to justify the loop. Yeah, I can't leave you guys with that. Would just be, I feel bad about that, so I can't do that. I just want good, clean camera work. What can I say? Okay, so there we are. Nice, clean loop there. So I'll just repeat the same mechanic output on the other side. So if you wanted to, you could braid this a little bit and kind of get it bundled up in a way, or you can leave it as loose strands. That's really up to you guys. I think I'll show you what these look like both ways, and you can decide for yourself. I actually kind of like the loose braided. Kind of gives it all like a nice nice texture there. So let's go ahead and create our next loop with our wire. I'm going down a pretty good amount within my pliers to make this happen. So probably you'll want to be at a space where it gives you about a 3mm loop, as I have there. And you'll simply just open it up and start to tuck in all of your extra little strands here. So again, we'll just work with the sandwiching technique, and we will string on our beaded strand first, followed by our knitted wire. The knit on the wire is fairly tight, so it's definitely secure. And our next strand. So there we go. Perfect. Oh man, that looks so good. I love blue. I don't know about you. I'm such a sucker for blues, teals, and greens. The cool colors. I'm not a huge purple fan, but I can get behind it, mostly because it's my brand color. But I'm starting to kind of like pink, depending on the application. Maybe not so much the hot pinks, but the blush and like pastel pinks, I can get behind those. Alrighty. Okay, so that looks good. I'm just going to tuck in that little end. It's going to go in the cone anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Stick in my cone and just kind of take a look around, make sure everything is nice and tucked away. And I'm going to pick up another spare bead here. If I can find one that is in that moon. Oh, there we go. Okay, get my next gem cut one. And now I'll just go ahead and create my wire wrapped loop. With terminator ends breaking the neck of the loops, we would have to worry about justifiable ends. That's true. That is true. And besides that, I think I want all of us to think in terms of detailed perfectionism here, just trying to get my loops to look a little extra round. You know, it's not going to hurt anything. It'll just elevate my design, if anything, and I'll have known that it is nice and secure when I'm wearing it. So not a bad thing, Vicky. Alrighty, so now I'm ready for a clasp, and I included a couple of clasps in your kit. If you've not tried my lobster claws, y'all let me know what you think about them. The plating is the same as all my other findings, so that you can really just have a one-stop shop with SilverSilk and purchase all of your findings and attachments with the same plating all across the board. Oh my God, that is so cute. How about that? Now, this is sort of that vision I was describing with stuff being caught in a net, and it's like just stuff, but it's so beautiful, the textures and everything. So I'm gonna actually keep this one. I'm quite proud of it, and I think the findings work really well. So again, these kits are sold out, but you can still grab these amazing little cones that have that great patinaed finish. Welcome to Nealayisms. All right, so let me grab my next project here because I want to get this stuff out of the way. There we go. And I've got some shiny stuff this time. And I also packed for you guys a full 3-foot spool of fern burlesque chain. It's a little hard for me to say. I don't know why. Fern burlesque chain. There we go. And it's a beautiful, like, olivey green color. If you're not wanting to use with this kit or anything, then that's perfectly fine. This is a great color for fall, in my opinion, from spring to summer to fall, just depending on what you pair it with. This will go great with any burgundy color if you're wanting to just have a pendant or chain attached to it. Or it is going to work really great with this particular design and or beads that I have in here. So I thought it would be kind of fun to make a bracelet in the style of a bracelet that I have made in the past called the Path to Patagonia, except this will be more of like a path to the ocean, the sea. Help me out, guys. What's a really romantic, like, oceany name? Like, is it the Path to Atlantis or something? But I'm gonna go off where I've kind of started to with the with making the bead soup and add in all of these random eclectic pieces here and there just to give myself some fun texture. I'm not being too serious with this design. I want it to be very organic and delightful and just easy to put together and construct. Also, I included, these little bails. If you don't want to make this exact project and you kind of want to veer off and do your own thing, then you can use this chain to string through the bail. And if you wanted to make some earrings, just grab a couple of those double strand end caps. And here you've got a way to attach your beads and components and attach a double strand end cap there at the top. Or if you wanted to make a necklace, then you can grab some single strand end caps. If if you want to, and it makes a perfect little bail to hold all of your beads and stuff if you want to on there, or if you've got a pendant at home. So just one of those extra things that I wanted to include. I've got this cute little seahorse that came with this. So yeah, I'm just sort of sprinkling these around, again, not being too serious. I've got this little fun fish in there. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to grab another remnant piece of my beading wire. This one's in a lapis color, which is absolutely stunning. And I've got a pretty good sized piece of it. You can use the remnants from your kit, because I can't remember exactly how much I included. I want to say it was 2 feet, so it should be enough to work with. But you'll also need your terminators. And I've got some earring hooks if you're in the mood to make some earrings. And maybe if we've got time, we can. But you'll need your terminators for this particular technique, because what you'll need to do is trim off the end of your chain here. Again, this one's a bit of a looser style. This was a chain that I was producing before I sort of made updates to my machine. So the style of this chain is a lot more fluid, and it's going to be perfect because this piece is going to be very organic and loose in itself. But what you want to do is sort of pinch in that end. If you've got any extra little pieces of wire here sticking out that are just kind of rolling around, go ahead and pluck those little wire fuzzy bits off. They tend to get in the way of crimping. Typically now on my current chain, you won't have to worry about that at all. But on these older chains, it does have a bit of that going on. So just pluck those off, no big deal. Roll it around in your fingers, and then just go ahead and insert your terminator. This one is the 9mm terminator. It does not have a loop on it. It is great for capping off the end of your chain to have a really nice clean finish without attachments. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and string my beading wire right through the chain. And I'm going to be very close to my end cap there, or my terminator. Okay, a little bit of that tinsel is in the way, so I'm just going to push this right through. There we go. You have to kind of wiggle it around to get it to come through, but it'll string right through pretty easily. I'm going to slide that down onto my wire there. And now we'll just start stringing some random beads here, because I'm going to weave my wire in and out through my chain here. So we'll start here. And one thing that I will note is that if you cut your beading wire at an angle, slight angle, just like that, you can string through anything very quickly and much more easily. Okay, so I'm going to just start to create a little curvature with my chain there. That looks really good. I'm going to then kind of mark it with my finger, and then I'm going to string right through where I want my chain to lay down. So as you can see, it creates a beautiful little curve there. And basically, I'll just continue doing that through this whole thing. So you can add in whatever random beads you want to. I think I'm going to do this one next, actually. And if you're wanting to do a little doubly loopy-loop thing, then what you can do is actually string your bead on. And then while it's still kind of laying down here on the table, you can kind of rotate your chain around to loop around the bead just for a second. And then you'll have to do a couple steps here. You'll remove your bead because you've gotten the measurement. You'll string through your silver silk where you kind of marked it with your finger. Bead stoppers are also great if you've got some. I'm just really freehanding it right now and doing the best I can with what I have here on the table. I feel like I packed some of my stuff away, and my bead stoppers are in a different tub right now. Okay, so I've got my wire already looping, so I'm going to go ahead and slide on my bead once again, and then I'm going to go through the loop up here at the top. And that'll pretty much secure everything. in place. Okay, so if I kind of squeeze all this together, you can really see what I've done there. You can also use straight pins to hold everything in place as you're stringing it, and that makes things a lot easier. So Kimberly is saying, your SilverSilk specific end caps are my jam. I love the finish of my projects with them, whether it's single or multi-strand. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm very proud of my end caps, actually. But that's really great feedback. I think my end caps are, but particularly the single strand end caps are my highest selling product, believe it or not, more so than the SilverSilk itself. But I think that also tells me that they're very versatile because I use the end caps for leather. I use it for other stringing materials, whether I, have to finish off the end with the terminator or with multiple strand SilverSilk or whatnot. It's the perfect finish. So thank you for that lovely compliment. Okay, I am stringing my little cha-cha bead on there, right, just like that. And this is the part where you can determine really, if you want it to be a necklace, then all you do is just leave that extra bit of beading wire on to make your necklace rope, right? And then just kind of sits and floats in space on your neck, which would look like an art piece. So something to think about. In fact, I think I've got enough to make a necklace. So I might just go that route just to show you guys. If you're not wanting to make a necklace and you're wanting to make a bracelet instead, then you would simply just trim it off right at the end there. You can put on a bead after your chain just to give yourself a little bit of cushioning for crimping. And then that's pretty much it. You just measure to the length of your wrist and call it good. In this case, I think I'm going to do a necklace because I'm in a necklacey mood. Oh, you know what? I was measuring around to see if I can loop it, and I didn't give myself enough chain to make that loop. So let me come back out here. You know what I noticed is my doorbell didn't ring twice, so I bet I've got a delivery at the door. That's probably the most valid explanation, right? That's what I'm hoping. I'm really waiting on some wire to come in. I'm happy to say that my wire supplier has brought back that dark blue, and many of you have been asking about that dark blue color chain called Storm and River, which is a blue knitted wire over silver ball chain. I've been out of stock of that stuff for a very long time, and it's making me very sad that I've not had it and not been able to stock it. But once I get that blue wire, my little booty is getting back to work on that and making sure that I get enough replenished for you guys to have out there. Okay, that's my pearl. And I think I'm going to put my little fish on, and I want to give myself a little bit of sparkle in there. So I'm going to put my sparkle and then my fish. I love this guy. He's really heavy too, but I think it'll be all right for this design. Kind of tells a story, doesn't it? It's like the fish going after the pearl, and then you got all this stuff kind of just sprinkled in. Yeah, I like how that's going to go up there. Okay, so we're doing that. I don't think I'm going to add my second cha-cha bead. I just want the one for asymmetry. Beautiful. So I'll probably do a couple more waves, whatever you want to call it, and kind of finish up there. But it looks like an art piece. It really does. Okay. This one. This one. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's calling to me. Brilliant. Okay, I could have even stuck in my little seahorse in there somewhere. Actually, oh, you know what? I kind of like that. Okay, I'm going back. I am going back. I'm gonna put in my seahorse. It's part of my focal here. Okay, now, come on. There we go. I want to put this in through here. Okay. And let's see. I kind of want to match my terminators to be the same on each end there. So what I think I'll do is I'll stick another bead up here so that my wire can kind of come back toward the inside of the necklace. So go, we'll do a couple of these just to end it. Well, you know what? I'm gonna actually leave my gem cuts out here to the side because I want to use those to cap off my end. Or I guess I could, yeah, I'll use the gem cuts. That way it'll be kind of staggered and a little different. So again, there's like so many ways to do this. So it just is really up to you guys what you want to do. But I love the mismatched beads here for my design. And once you kind of get it to where you want it, you can simply count 3 of the ball chain beads. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and trim it off. And then just do the same thing as you did on the other side. You will, yes, Rosemary says it is like a picture of the ocean seas. It really is, for sure. Okay, a little bit of my tinsel came out there, but that's all right. We'll just trim that off. No big deal. Got one more fuzzy here. Wire fuzzies. Okay, pinch and crimp. If it moves around later when you're wearing it, no big deal. All right, I'm going to grab my wide nose pliers. These have been dipped in a product called Tool Magic, also sold by Softflex. And you just kind of just pinch it right down, just crimp it, and make sure that seam is nice and closed. That's really about it. You don't need glue or anything. Who needs glue? I use glue all the time, but not for my findings. It's got to have my jewelry glue. Okay, so I'm going to string on a color of my gem cut on both ends. Okay, there we go. Got just enough Softflex wire to use as my necklace rope, but man, I'm kind of in love with this piece. And I think I had a friend asking about me using the magical crimpers. Are they here? So in this case, my wire and beads are exposed, and so my crimp will be as well. What I do want, which I don't think I've got, no, I've got some here. You want to make sure you use multiple strands of beading wire whenever you're crimping with magical crimpers. Because I've only got it on the one piece of wire, it won't work. But if you've got multiple wires that are stuffed inside of the crimp and then you use your magical crimpers, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, it just becomes a nice, very secure hold because there's enough meat inside of the stuffed crimp to be able to grasp onto. But basically, it's got the one divot of my magical crimpers. You just kind of work it around in the same divot until the crimp smashes in on itself and becomes nice and round. Super easy to use. Okay, just do that on both ends. Perfect. Beautiful. I'm just kind of tugging on it to make sure it's not going anywhere and it feels nice and secure. So now all I would do to finish is just basically crimp the ends there to make my necklace happen. onto my clasp set here, which I guess I could do since we're all here. We're all here. We're all present. Let's just write. I've got 5 minutes, so this is perfect. I ended up using all of my class time this time. I think I let you guys out of my class early last time, but you get to stick around and watch me finish 3 designs today. How about that? Okay, I'm just going ahead and trimming up my necklace rope, essentially the beading wire, to match both sides. I think what I'm going to do is, before I even crimp it, I kind of want to make sure that I have the right size here to commit to. So once I've done that, then you kind of just make your loops and stuff. Very easy. Okay. How about that? Very simple. Overall, I mean, I do think that this is a relatively easy design to work with and put together. And all you need to do is learn a little bit of crimping, which you already did probably by watching the gals from Softflex do their thing. And then you come over to my channel and expand on your skills. Okay, there we go. Boom, boom. And then now on this side. And Vicky, I did have my clasps on hand here, so I'm very proud of myself. Question from the chat. Can you sew buttons onto the pipe chain? The tubing for the pipe chain is silicone. I don't know if you can get a needle through there. I probably wouldn't recommend it because it might damage the pipe chain. You could certainly try, but I don't think it would work as well. Not with the pipe chain. Okay, let me make sure that I have these of the equal length here. Hi, Marianne. Lovely to see your name pop in, friend. Okay, so she's saying that is just so beautiful. It brings a vision and happy memories of youth on the islands. Oh, that's so sweet. So Marianne and her sister-in-law, Dav, are from Hawaii and are super supporters of SilverSilk, and we've become really great friends, as many of our Silkies have in this journey together. Emily from Motorcrafts, hooray for the class. I know, my friend, tell me about it. I've been celebrating too. Many of you know out there that I usually don't have a clasp on hand, but since it came in the kit, I feel like I cheated a little bit. Marilyn says, yeah, a whole hour with Nealay. Aw. You guys are all darlings. My sweet, sweet silkies. Okay, so here we are. Got my clasp ball sorted out. I've got this beautiful artistic design. I think I'm going to save the earrings for another time. You can add in your SilverSilk Silkies charm to just about anything that you want to. I'm going to bring out my other designs because I'm quite proud of my little collection here. All right, I've got this beautiful bracelet that I made, and I need to really finish this one here at the ends, but I'm really digging this. I'm actually wondering, I kind of want to make one in grays and blacks for myself and use a tiara cast button. They're at the end, so big for me. I'm like scheming for myself now, so. Alrighty, you guys. I'm gonna do a quick scroll here if I missed anything. Michelle says, love this design. Thank you. This is such a great hour, you guys. Like, we really made everything out of it. I've got 1 minute left. But again, just give some snaps to Joan for helping out in the back scene and giving you guys all the info and details. Don't forget to check out the pop-up shop that will go away after tomorrow, midnight Central. It was just here through TGBE and made it an exclusive for you guys. So those of you who were able to grab that pipe chain might not see it for a while again. And what else am I missing? Don't forget to check out Jennifer's tutorial next Tuesday at 2 o'clock Central Time. I will do my usual roundup at 5 o'clock Central Time in the evening. So that'll be a good place to catch up again. And I have a YouTube channel. SilverSilk and More is the handle to that, and a library chock full of videos. The last couple bits of information is don't forget to follow me on Instagram. And then finally, don't forget to sign up for that big TGBE giveaway, because that is an amazing prize. All you're doing is exchanging your email. You do not have to give us your social security and or credit cards. You're already giving your credit cards to our stores, so and making those wonderful purchases to support our life. But any company that asks you for your information personally and claims to be TBGE is not TBGE. We will never do that. We just want your email to make sure that we can connect later on after the show. All right. Snaps to Joan. Love you guys. I'm going to turn it back to my big old face here and give you guys a giant hug. Those of you that are watching out there, I love you so much. And I cannot wait to see what you post in my SilverSilk Silkies Facebook group over here. I was going to point that way, but it's really this way. Up next is the incomparable Miss Kelly Sutton for our Great Beat Extravaganza event. She's got an amazing project cooked up, and you guys can take a break and then join her and show her some love for our TGBE event. Okay, I'll catch you later.